Namaste, where you
GPT,
must
baby.
live and learn so you don't get burned.
Gorilla powertrain.
He's promoting himself again.
As I always do. Yeah.
So, my faithful viewers, you know that this is Mark's third visit. Thank you, Mark, for being here.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
appreciate the support.
Not a problem.
So, the first few segments, our focus was fitness, but today our focus is identity.
Identity crisis.
Identity. So let's dive on in, Mark. Are you black, white, or other?
Dive, dive, dive.
I love the comedy. You gotta have it.
That's the penguins over Madagascar. Dive, dive, dive. Anyway, I'm black and white. I'm mixed. I'm biracial. I am other.
You're other. Okay.
I'm other because why? I don't say I'm black. I don't say I'm white. I'm mixed. It is what it is. On that application for a long time, the biggest thing that made me mad was it would say black, white, Hispanic, or Asian. And I used to ask them, what do I put? I'm not any of these. Well, put what you think you are. Okay, I'm not any of these. So they started implementing the other box, and then they actually started putting biracial.
They did, and that's the thing I meant to look up. When did they start implementing the other box?
It's a conflict of interest. People are saying, I'm mixed. They start realizing, they do a lot of statistics. And people write down, they don't have a box for me. So they don't, people are easily offended.
But do you think that other box wasn't there because you should identify with what's given to you, or you think people should identify with what they want to identify with?
As we previously spoke, society would suggest you are what your father is, right? As we already know that.
Right,
They say that. But how can you say you are what your father is when I don't feel like I'm that?
Okay.
I know I'm half of that.
Why don't you feel like you're that?
Because I'm not. I'm mixed. And let me just put this out there. I'm not sexist. I'm not biased. I'm open to all aspects of the conversation.
Okay.
And this isn't geared towards men or women. This is geared to everyone. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do, what your ethnicity is, what you prefer to be, your gender, whatever. This is geared towards everyone. This is an open conversation. So no one should be offended.
Okay, so when I look at you, like I met you, it's been a couple months, it's some months.
It's been more than a couple times.
I recently found out you were biracial. I had no idea.
Exactly.
Looking at you, you look like a black man.
That's your perspective. Honestly, a lot of people think I'm Puerto Rican. A lot of
Okay.
people think I'm Hispanic. They think I'm Latin because it's because of the color of my skin. And a lot of people that I know are Latin as well. But my ex-wife, she looks white. And she's 100% Puerto Rican, straight out the island. I met her, she just came from Puerto Rico. But she looks white. So she gets that question all the time until they hear her speak. They're like, oh, wow, you're Spanish.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know Spanish people aren't just caramel.
Oh, absolutely not. They're not. I got mistaken for Dominican a lot in New York. I ended up playing around with it like, yeah, I'm Dominican. You know, I just feel like it's so ignorant to even care. Why does it matter what somebody is? But I also feel like you don't have to necessarily identify with what society labels you, but you should identify with something, because when you go into that other box, to me, that's when you start to get confused. Not saying you shouldn't own your heritage or your culture. Absolutely you should. But I think it makes it easier on the individual when you identify with one, which is probably what you grew up around or your environment or something like that. Like the NAACP woman, completely Caucasian, but she claims that she identified with being an African American woman because that's what she grew up around. And, she didn't get found out till way, years later of being in the NAACP. So I just think that that's deep. I think that society does play a key role because of the magazines, what we see on the news, politics, the whole thing. There's always been, you're either black or you're white.
I agree with that. But if you meet a mixed person, anyone that's mixed or biracial, they say they're this because they feel as though that's what they're being accepted as. They say they're this because either black or white, I'm accepted, so I'm going to say this. This makes them feel comfortable, makes me feel comfortable. But inside, to be honest, there's a conflict of interest within yourself. Which causes an identity crisis for the new generation coming up. It's vast. They're mixed.
Right.
So biggest problem, the biggest question that's not being asked, all this depression that's going on, are you having an identity issue because of what you are?
Absolutely.
And the family says, what? We love you. We care about what you are. It doesn't matter what we are, but are you understanding the gray area? You know what I'm saying? The gray area, no one's asking that one question. Does this bother you? Are you in an identity crisis because you don't know what side you belong to? Are you subjected to the white side, to the black side, to the Asian side, to the Latin side, whatever you are?
So do you claim other because of your upbringing? Were you raised with your African American family or your Caucasian family?
Honestly, I was raised with my mom, my mother, she's white. If you
Okay.
want to get down to it, color-wise, she's white, he's black.
Okay.
But I'm French, Scottish, Italian, Indian, Irish. I'm mixed with a lot of things. And
But aren't we all technically mixed with something?
no, I'm literally mixed with these things. Some people, they say everyone's mixed with a lot of different things.
Not necessarily a lot, but everybody's mixed with something.
We are, we are. Everybody's mixed with something. If you get, biblically speaking, in Genesis 11, verses, 1 through 8, in the Tower of Babel, he confused their tongues because they were of many nations. They were getting too intelligent. He didn't want them to stick together. He separated everyone. And they were of many nations, of different kinds. There was, to them, they were one race, different shades, different looks, different everything. But he had to separate that. So,
But can we keep it real? If tomorrow, our so-called president, I hate to bring him up, but just an example. So tomorrow, let's say the president says, we're gonna split everybody up. He's gonna just have a black boat and a white boat. There won't be an other boat. There won't be a multiracial boat, a biracial boat. There'll be a black boat and a white boat. Which boat will you be in? I'm sorry, but you and I are pretty darn close. We're getting in the black boat, Mark. You will be in the black boat, and so will Tiger Woods. I hate to always bring him up,
a lot of people are offended by him because
he's Cablinasian.
Yeah,
I just learned that word.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Everybody has their label. Nowadays, let me just say this: a lot of people are so easily offended today.
They are.
Stop being offended for everything. Someone's going to ask you what you are. Accept it, embrace it. Be honored that they even care about thinking about what you are before they say something that might offend you.
I get that, but for me, I think because I've been asked so many times for so many years, it unnerves me because I wish that we would get to a point where we don't judge the book by its cover all the time.
No one's judging you.
Don't treat me, are you gonna treat me different?
They embrace anyone that's
But see,
willing to
even
accept
Asians
them.
are considered people of color.
And they are.
And a lot of them that I personally meet, they don't like that.
Right.
And so that's what makes me more proud of being a black woman, because some of us that are mixed, like your situation, for instance, I know we all claim our own identity for our own history, our own background, our own reasons, but...
You know what I used to tell people I was? I'm black, white, Puerto Rican, and Italian.
Why?
Because I didn't know who I was. I couldn't figure out who I was. I preferred to be everything. I didn't want to be this.
Was that so you could be accepted?
I didn't care. I didn't care who to be accepted by. I got to that point was, I don't care who accepts me. I am what I am. I am my own race.
Right.
I am something of my own. I am very unique, and I hope everyone that understands this conversation, you are unique in your own way. What you are is what you are. Accept that.
Right.
Embrace that. Do not let that go. You are a blessing. You are nothing less than the biggest blessing.
But can't you know your history and your culture and still just identify with one thing instead of several?
But you're not
because
one
when you
thing.
identify, to me, that's what makes you go into the whole identity crisis, because
We're going to say stop. We're going to say I can is not in our vocabulary. You can do whatever you want to do. You can choose to be who you want to be.
Absolutely.
But if you ask anybody that's mixed, they're going to say they feel there's a hole, there's something empty, there's a void. They feel like they belong this side, but they feel like they're being pulled over here. So if I say, if you're mixed, why do I gotta be mixed? Okay, are you black? Why do I gotta be black?
But what's wrong with being black?
There's nothing wrong with being black. That's the thing. Accept who you are for what you are. If someone asks you.
So if there's nothing wrong with being black, why don't you identify with being black?
Because I'm not black. I'm black.
So you've never identified with being just black?
No, never.
And you never will. It sounds like he never will.
I
respect that. I don't understand it, but I respect it.
Accept it, because my mother's white. My mother's not black. Society says, because your father's black, you're black. I get that. Genetically speaking, that's the way the lineage works, right?
Right.
Well, genetics work. But my mother's white. My father's black. I was raised by my mother, not my father. He was completely absent. So, and
could that play a key role in why you don't want to identify with that?
No.
I am African American. I do have, on my dad's side, I do have some Native American background, but The majority of my makeup is African American.
So you have some Native American.
Yes.
You're technically biracial.
I am not. Bi means two.
Well, bi means
Bi
two,
means two.
but you're going by what your parents are. So you gotta,
Correct.
you're a portion, you're a percentage of the Indian.
I buy Native American paintings. I wear Native American clothes sometimes.
But you identify with the black side.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely, because more of me is, that's what I grew up around, and
One thing I want.
makeup, my makeup is mostly black.
My wife. When I first met her, I guess I said, she looked like she was maybe Hispanic, Latin, maybe Dominican. But I've learned there's actually.
But were you going to treat her different if she
No,
was?
no,
That's
no,
what I'm saying.
no,
So
no, no.
why
There was
does
no
it
difference.
matter?
There was no difference. I was just curious as to how she looked. I was just
Okay.
curious. She's a little light skinned. She had straight hair. It wasn't actually, she irons it. She actually has really coarse hair. You know what I mean? And I love the natural look. I love it. I prefer the coarse hair, to be honest with you. But
That's him getting in touch with his ethnic side. I had to say it. Okay.
I am going to admit this. I've never felt more comfortable with a woman than I do my wife. I feel more accepted and more comfortable by her than I have ever.
Your African American wife.
Yes.
So because you're with an African American woman, does that mean that's the side
I
you're
told
more
her
in
that.
tune with?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I told her, I said, you being African American, I don't know if that has anything to do with my comfort level with you, but I am more comfortable with you than I have ever been with any woman.
Interesting.
I don't know if that has something to do with her accepting me
Okay.
for who I am.
It could be.
Or I get off topic, I can talk about
That's
my wife
okay.
all day.
That's
I love
okay.
her. I love her. I know you
I
like
hope
that.
she watches this.
She does. So they're having that identity crisis within themselves.
Right.
Also with the idea of, am I pretty enough? Am I acceptable
That's
enough?
another segment.
You know what I mean?
You are absolutely correct.
But the boys and the men are just off in themselves.
But believe it or not, the whole pretty enough thing falls into who they identify with and their own insecurities, and
And it goes back to
because
what
a
are they?
lot of us dark complected African American women, this is one of my segments for 2019, we don't, society doesn't portray black as beautiful, and so that puts an insecurity in our minds when we're younger, and then when we get older we don't feel black is beautiful. So let everybody know that I'm multiracial, because black is not beautiful. Maybe if I tell them
multiracial, and you accept that. Claim that.
maybe if I tell everybody I'm multiracial, I'll be accepted.
Nah, it doesn't work like that.
No,
It
it
just-
doesn't.
But
it makes you feel better because you're not saying I'm black,
getting-
because black isn't beautiful according to
We're
society.
going, I don't know about the society thing. I don't accept that into my equation of life.
Why? It's in the magazines,
I
it's in the news.
I don't accept race.
Social media.
I dealt with.
Blackfishing. I know, that's another segment. Blackfishing. The girl that's Swedish right now. I don't even want to give her the pleasure of me even bringing her up, but I have to. The girl that's Swedish, that's completely white, and she's blackfishing. She's portraying to be black. She got a really, really dark tan.
Okay.
She's making money as a black model.
Okay.
She's posted on black social media pages as a black woman, and she's white.
Okay.
What do you think about people like that?
To each
Talk
his
about identity crisis. No, she's making money as a black
Rhonda,
person when she's white.
I say to each his own. Whatever you want to portray yourself as.
So you think
I'm not
that's
offended-
okay?
I'm not offended for anyone. I'm offended for me and mine. Let me rephrase that. I don't even get offended anymore. I dealt with so much ignorance and race growing up.
Same
I don't
here.
care where you're from, what you do, or who you are. Just respect me for who I am.
You can't namaste out with the cop. How you gonna namaste
Rise
out?
and grind, baby, but we gonna namaste. Yeah, warm it up.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I hope you had a fair stay. Tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.